exciting month. Something, nothing, or everything, Big Shot.
And everything Steph does right now is everything is the best, because when you look at Steph's play, he doesn't have his main man, Clay. Draymond is kind of losing a step, and he has to go out there and do it by himself. So this is everything. For him to step up and do what he's doing, to score so many threes at a rate that he's doing. Because think about it. When you have a player like this, you know exactly what he's going to do. He's like, okay, he's going to shoot threes.
Yep.
You can double team him. But it doesn't help because his handles get him out of every situation he can possibly get in. So this is everything. This guy is, like another MVP candidate right here, and he might be the number one for me.
No, look, I think it's something. I wouldn't say it's everything, mainly because when you look at the record that he is about to break, or past James Harden, when you look at that, it's like, this is the way the game is trending. So James Harden,
because of him.
No, I understand that, but James Harden held the record. James Harden held the record. It's not because we've seen enough three-point records where it's Steph breeding his own record. Right? This was something that it was like James Harden, what he did for a month and what he did over that season was just remarkable. And then Steph was like, hey, give me that record back. I need that back. So I think this is something. I think it would be everything if this was getting them to the number one seed, or if this was something that was going to vault them to the next level. That's how he won the unanimous MVP. So I think it's something. It's not everything.
It's not everything. It's something.
Okay.
It's not everything because you look at Steph Curry and you see him, the marksmanship, the extraordinary sniper-like tendencies that he has. And then you just sit up there and say, this is the greatest shooter God has ever created.
Ever.
I've never seen anybody that can shoot the ball like this. And then you go to his numbers, and you see him averaging 31, and you see him shooting 49% from the field, and you see him shooting 43% from three-point range. And then you go to his stats, career-wise, and you see the numbers aren't any different than what he customarily does. Then you look at somebody like the great Damian Lillard, who I'm a huge fan of. And we made a big deal over the fact that Damian Lillard shot better than 40% from three-point range, I believe it was last year. And then I looked at Steph numbers, and he's never shot less than 40% from three-point range in his career, with the exception of last year when he only played 5 games before the season was interrupted by the bubble. That is the only time in the career of Steph Curry that he has shot worse than 40% from three-point range. This brother is something special. God just gives you certain gifts, and when it comes to him, his gift is shooting. He's so great as a shooter. Anybody whose name is Curry that can't shoot will be exiled from a conversation. We won't like them because we were like this. Who's your relatives? How could you have this last name and you're missing shots? That's how great Steph Curry is. And when Klay Thompson gets back healthy next year, God willing, I'm telling you right now, the Golden State Warriors at the very least will be in the conference finals.
Ooh.
At the very least.
You buy that?
I don't buy that one, Steve. I love you, dog, but I don't buy that.
How?
Because he's in the West, big dog. Look at the West. Okay, but here's the thing. Also, when a guy comes back from injury, Clay has come back from 2 devastating injuries. It's going to be hard for him to get back to being Clay. I love Clay. He's one of the best defenders in the league.
I'm not denying that.
Draymond Green is losing step. Wiseman, we don't know what's going to happen out of Wiseman, so they're not going to have the crew. They're going to be.
I'm only talking about if he's healthy. That's all I'm about.
We're going to continue this conversation. Stick with us. Here's what the Jump recommends. 7 Eastern, and it is now time for another installment of one of our favorite games, Something, Nothing, or Everything, with a very special guest. Welcome back to the Jump, Stephen A. Smith.
I appreciate being with my peeps.
We are
I appreciate
so happy.
Miss y'all. It's good to see.
So happy
y'all.
when you're in the building.
Absolutely.
We even made new Something, Nothing, or Everything boards in honor of your arrival here. Shouts again to Katie Bodmer. Thank you for making us look good as always. And first up, it's the we could not talk about any other team.
You see him?
You being here.
You see him?
The New York Knicks, 9 straight. Beat the Raptors 120-103 on Saturday, the longest winning streak for the Knicks since the 2013 season, which coincidentally was the last time they made the playoffs. So Stephen A., is the Knicks' 9-game winning streak something, nothing, or everything?
Well, first of all, it's everything. All right, it's everything. When you haven't won the title since 1993, when you haven't been relevant since 1973. I apologize, 1973. Okay, and on top of it all, you haven't been relevant for the last damn near quarter century. Of course, it's a big deal. But I also would like to add this: the number 1 defense in the NBA. They play together. They are building a culture. And by the way, I'm saying it right in front of RJ and right in front of you, right in front of you, 7-time champion. Let me tell y'all something. The more the New York Knicks elevate in their level of relevancy, the more pressure it puts on the Brooklyn Nets to win the chip, because the Knicks getting to the second round of the playoffs is a better story than Brooklyn going to the finals and losing.
Oh.
You heard it here first.
Oh. Do you think that's true, Robert?
Yeah, he does.
You know what? Stephen, I will agree with you on that, but I'm also going to say this everything. And it's everything because my boy Julius Randle is getting MVP chance up in MSG. That's what I'm talking about. Julius Randle is taking his game to another level. You know, when you look around this league and you talking about players that have improved, to me, this guy has stepped up tremendously. To me, he gets my vote. If I had a vote, the most improved player.
Yes,
if
for
you
sure.
look what B.I. did last year, who got it, he's doing exactly what Brandon Ingram did. So if he doesn't get it, it'll be a travesty.
This is
Richard?
This is just,
Resident News.
This is tragic.
Give it up.
This is tragic.
Give it up.
Look, I'm going because they don't want to hear positive things from me, but I'm going to still say positive things. I am so glad that they have done the things, and I truly believe. It starts with Dolan, then it went to the front office, and then they brought in a coach that was going to run things and wasn't going to take any mess from people up top. He wasn't going to he was going to hold his ground. He was going to bring in the type of players that he wanted. And then you get a guy like Julius Randle that just has one of the, like, he's all NBA this year. He's an all NBA player, in my opinion. I said this a couple of weeks ago when they won 5 or 6 games and it looks like they were going to be the playoffs. This is before they went on a 9-game winning streak. So I think, look, all the credit deserves a Knicks. Right now, you get the credit and you deserve it, but the job's not done. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. Keep pushing.
But by the way, do you realize that Julius Randle's 3-year-old son is a better story than most people in the NBA right now? Just watch his stuff.
Hilarious.
Boy, he's hilarious. He's hilarious. He's crying, talking about he hates the Nets. Another week he's smiling and blowing kisses. I mean, Julius Randle's son is this dude is a headline.
When was the last time the Knicks lost?
All right. And by the way, I do have a vote. He is the most improved player. I want to say that, number one. And number two, he is a legitimate MVP candidate because they have come out of nowhere. The New York Knicks.
Well,
New York Knicks.
I want to ask you about the culture that you were just talking about, building the culture. So my thing for the last, 10 years, however long it's been, is you don't get a participation trophy in the NBA. We don't just pat you on the head and say good things about you when you are being, and look, you've said it. There have been times this franchise buffoonery, right, that they have been engaging in. The change that you have seen since Leon Rose, World Wide West, Tom Thibodeau came in, and the players buying in. Do you feel that the franchise has really made a turn for real?
I believe they have. First of all, James Dolan is not stealing headlines for idiotic reasons. So that goes a long way. Number two, Leon Rose is showing he knows what he's doing, a la Rob Pelinka, even though he got that job not having much of a relationship with James Dolan, while obviously Rob Pelinka had a great relationship with Kobe Bryant as his former agent. Number three, you look at World Wide West. We all know how connected he is. And we know William Wesley, and we know Scott Perry has been a reputable executive for some time, long overdue getting recognition. But Tom Thibodeau, being the fixture that he is, being a guy that mandates a level of discipline and structure and is about team play, you can't say enough. I'm willing to go so far as this. I think the culture with the New York Knicks at this moment in time is better than the culture at the Brooklyn Nets. I'm not talking about Sean Marks because he's done a sensational job. I'm just talking about in terms of, players, guys being injured, guys being out, guys taking personal leave, stuff like that. The New York Knicks is a bunch of no-names that just showed up, grabbed their lunch pail, went to work, and they're winning basketball games. Right now, the culture with the New York Knicks at the moment is better than the culture for the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets just have superior talent, far superior talent.
Fighting words, though, which I would not expect.